Um, it says, funny, I never realized it's constructed of little more than tin foil. I lovingly held the fragile treasure in my hand, delaying the moment when it was to be wrapped, along with the other Christmas decorations. Oh, I'm doing good. Strewn all over the living room. The star measures about 5 inches across. The shiny outer star outlines the slightly smaller dark blue foil star in the center. The hole in the middle supports a bulb from whatever string of lights is nearest to the top of the tree. As I sit here wishing the Christmas season could be stretched out a little bit longer, I remember the excitement of my childhood Christmases. There was never a time this star did not occupy the position of honor atop our family's tree. My mind my mind okay. My mind wandered back to the day when we cut our tree. What a grand day it was. In our small Vermont town, it was not uncommon for each family to cut its tree from the plentiful supply in the woods surrounding the village. I now realize that that land must have belonged to someone, but at my young age, I didn't have to think about that. Well, apparently Dad didn't think of it much either, but that's okay. Dad was the railroad agent in our small town. He worked 6.5 days a week, as he was the only employee in the station. It was almost always a Sunday when we got our tree. For that was the day only one train went through the town and Dad's work was done early. The preparations could begin. The axe was sharpened and placed in the car's trunk along with many ropes. The population of our town was about 500 people, so the trip to the outskirts was a short one. In fact, if you drove from the center of town in any direction, you were out of town in 2 minutes. We headed out the Brook Road, for that's where the best trees were, according to Dad. Parked by the side of the road at last, everyone piled out. My sister Ginny critiqued each tree along the way. My two brothers, Bob and Richard, usually were behind her, and I, the youngest and smallest, brought up the rear. It seemed to be an unwritten law that you couldn't choose just any tree you passed, especially if it was anywhere near the car. We all agreed that they were not the best trees. Even then, I wondered why Dad found it necessary to hike clear into the woods before we could begin our search. This tree-cutting event lasted all afternoon. By the time we began to search in earnest, I was tired. It was harder for me to keep up in all that snow. How about that one? It didn't matter who said it or which tree they were pointing at. The first one couldn't be just right. How about that one over there? And so it went. Just when it seemed we'd never agree, there it was, the roundest, fattest, fullest tree in the woods. The height of the tree was never a problem. Dad always cut off the bottom and trimmed the top until it fit our living room like a glove. Dad and my brothers took turns chopping. Wow. How big is this tree they're getting? Richard, the younger of my two brothers, chopped a little, just enough to teach him so that the next year he could chop some more. Finally, all the ropes were tied onto the tree and we started back to the car, dragging the tree behind us. It was almost dark when we arrived home. Dad would go into the workshop to the back of the house and make an X out of 2 pieces of wood. Soon the tree was standing in the living room. Now it was time for hot chocolate and some supper. We also had to tell Mom all about the trip. The evening was spent decorating. First the lights, then the red and green garland, some velvet, some paper. The garland had been purchased around 1923 when my parents were first married. We wouldn't have dreamed of using anything else. Of course, there was that one year when we used some of the ornaments Dad had sent away for, when the radio announcer exclaimed that they were shaped like stars and bells and glowed in the dark. It turned out they were also made of cardboard with silver glitter glued to the edges, which accounted for all that glowing. At least they did until the glitter fell off, which was shortly after we took them out of the package. Even Dad had to admit that a smooth talker had taken him. The big moment was here. Who would have the honor of putting on the star? Each year was a different person. I still remember when it was my turn. My older brother Bob lifted me up on his shoulders so I could reach. I tried to remember where my parents had gotten this star. They never said. Each year was a different person. I still remember when it was my turn. Okay. I tried to remember where my parents had gotten this star. They never said. It was as though it had always been there. Wait, there it is. I'm trying to read and hold the camera too. I finished wrapping up the star in tissue paper and placed it in the box along with the other treasures for trees to come. The tattered and worn red and green garland still adorns our tree. The cardboard ornaments didn't make it. Dad once said, if you don't make big things out of the little things in life, you may not have big things. Of course, cutting the tree took all afternoon. Thank you, Dad, from Veronica. December 2002. So, there you have it. Anyway, that was nice. On with our tour for a little bit here, and then we gotta shut down and upload it. Yes, there's the massive Too Big DVD collection that has all this stuff. It's ridiculous. And stuff from the 50s to the early 60s and late 60s and the 70s, and then it stops pretty much. So let's close that. So yeah, there you have it all. For this year, the old medals, grandfathers and uncles are still here. And yeah, so that ends the video because I gotta try to keep it sort of short. Where'd my Christmas hat go? Oh man, I'm a mess. We don't want to go out there. Alright, let's just... Anyway, ho ho ho, ho ho ho. Ho ho ho. I give up. Anyway, we'll talk to you later.